Welcome back, friends, to the shop. So before we get started, I wanted to thank all of you who took the time to send me emails, personal messages, comments about I think it was yesterday's video about I never thought this day would come. I was blown away by the output, by the amount of messages that came in. There are literally hundreds of emails, and I haven't even touched the comment section. I got up this morning and started wading through those and I'm trying to respond to all of them. And so if I don't get back to you, I will. It might take a week or two. So what we have today, we're probably gonna have to break this up into a couple videos. So as you know, getting ready to take that bike nearly 600 miles from south to north all the way up to the Canadian border. So what we have to do, what the challenge is between now and Tuesday, is to get 5 or possibly 6 days of equipment in these little tiny bags right here. So I've got all the bags laid out. This is all of the space that we have to deal with, and so I thought we'll put this on the bike, see if we can get it configured right, and then the second part we'll go over the list. There was a lot of interest about the list. What am I going to take for tools? What am I going to take for food? What am I going to take for camping, emergency supplies, and all that? So I've got the whole list all made, but we'll lay it out here, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit. So let's get started on the bags. Just real quickly, the bags I'll be using are from a local company, Moscow Moto, and this is basically the crux of it is the Reckless 40 saddle bag, and then I'm augmented that with a bunch of other stuff. So let's get that installed and I'll show you that, and then we'll see about filling them up. The first thing we need to do is install a heat shield on the muffler. This muffler will get hot. It'll actually melt or catch your bags on fire. I have seen that firsthand. We did a ride similar to this, but it was just a 3-day ride with some friends way back in the day. And my buddy had some saddlebags, and well, halfway through the ride or so, his bag caught on fire, and his tent, he burnt up his tent and his sleeping bag, which put a dampener on his joy. I am aware that this is not the ideal bike for a ride like this. It's actually quite a poor choice, being a 2-stroke. I've got to figure out a way to mix oil and gas and all those sort of things, and but it's the bike I have, right? What do they say? You dance with the girl you bring to the prom. Well, it's the bike that I have. So the only modification you have to do on these bags is install these 2 little clips right here. I just drilled into the inner fender there, and that gives you something to hook to. I guess there may be some other way. You might be able to weave it under the fender, but it seemed to be non-invasive and a pretty good way to do it. And now that will, once we weave those through there, that will prevent this bag from sliding forward, right? Like that. This section here is called the beaver tail. It's just got a little padded compartment in there, and how this works is that there's holes in here. You feed these 2 straps through, and then that will expose the buckles. A lot of adjustability on this. It would be hard to design something like this because you've got to try to imagine every possible scenario of what a guy, what type of guy is going to, or what type of motorcycle, and they've done a good job. It's actually comes off and on really easy. Securing the front is pretty rudimentary, but it works. I've taken these bags on some really rough enduro rides, and I haven't had any problem. They fit really well. They're easy to work around. They don't seem to hinder too much. But you just go around the frame here, and you can cinch those up. Same thing over here on the left side. Just find a frame rail or something that you can get that around. The Reckless 40 bags are designed to work like this. So what we have here is we've got a compartment right there that is designed to hold your 30-ounce MSR fuel bottles. Now, I don't have the range in my tank to make it the whole way, so I've got to carry a minimum of 1 gallon, and I hope that's enough. So we have right there, so basically 4 of these is what we're looking at. Now, what I was thinking originally was, okay, so we'll put 1 here, and then they had these extra ones. There's molly on the top of here that you can weave on using these molly sticks, which I'm doing one on the other side. I'll show you. And this is designed for a second. So so that gives us a total of 4 MSR bottles, right? That fit in there like that will have premix in there. Once you've got your dry bag all filled up with your stuff, you'll see that there's a hole there, right? And then there's a a pull tab on this guy. And you don't want to overstuff these guys because they can be a little tricky to get through. But you push this in, and then you can reach in and grab this pull tab here, and that really helps. And then you can pull it down and seat it into the bottom of the bag. So now you have your stuff protected, and you've got all that ballistic protection in there. And then you've got some room out the back to expand. And here's the back side. You can see how that bag, it's a little bit longer than the saddle, so you can actually stuff that out. And if it sticks out the back a little bit because you just need the extra space, you can do that. You secure it here. This will go through and hook into this Fastex, and that will, of course, prevent anything from sliding out the back. Now there's a third bag that comes with this that mounts underneath that beaver tail that sits, right behind you on the back. What came with the bag was this. They call it a Stinger 8. This is an 8-liter bag, which is not a very big bag, right? Imagine 8 liters of water. And what I found when I started getting all my gear and sleeping bag and stuff, it just wasn't enough space. I was getting to the point where I was having to like bungee stuff on the outside, look like the grapes of wrath, right? And this is not going to work. What happens if it gets wet? What happens if it rains or it falls off, right? So I called the guys and they said, what we recommend is upgrading it to the bigger bag. So this is a 22-liter bag. So the Rec was 40, I'm assuming that's 40 liters. That's 48 liters. That's pretty small for camping. Now this adds an extra 22. And what the guys said was that they're using 2 of these. There's enough strap on that where you can stack these up together. And that might just be enough. Actually, before we do that, I wanted to show you these MOLLE strips right here. So these, I've never used them before, but they're just a plastic strip that helps you thread the deal, and then they got a snap that closes it to lock it in there, apparently. Yeah, okay, so that's open. So we can see we have 2 rolls of MOLLE here, and the most important thing, of course, we just can't have stuff flapping. When you're going over rough road and jumps and brush and all that stuff, having stuff flap around is just not an option. It's dangerous, and it just tears everything up. So it's got to be super, super secure. And so we'll use 4 of these guys like I did on the other side. So I put 2 in the top and then 2 up from the bottom up. So how these work, I don't know if I'm doing it right, but it looks like it weaves in here, and then you pick up every other one and just kind of weave them. Hope you can see this. Weave them in. Oops, I got it backwards here. Let me flip it around. Yeah, these strips those are super awesome. Now, that's not going to go anywhere. That's really strong. And I'm not 100% sure the best way to mount this on here. Let me show you the way it was configured with a small bag. So once those fuel bottles are in there or whatever, actually I'm really second guessing the fuel bottle idea, which I'll share with you here in a while, or the other video. But so this is what they call, this is the beaver tail, right? Where you could, if you didn't have a bag in here and you had like a riding jacket and it got warm, you could roll it up and you can stuff stuff in there. It's kind of a handy deal to have. It's got some Velcro on here. And the idea for the small bag, the waterproof bag here, and this also, both these turn into a backpack, which is kind of cool. They've got these deals so you can take the straps out. And no, this is not a product endorsement. It's starting to sound like it though, isn't it? I paid full price with my own money for this. So this sticks on here like this, right? And you don't want things falling off, so you weave these. There's more straps on this thing than anything I've ever worked with. But you can weave this on here like that, right? And then pull these guys tight like that, and then you're secure. Problem is, obviously, that's not enough space. You couldn't even hardly get a sleeping bag in there. So now we have the big bag. And these guys told me that you could put both of them on here. So there is Velcro on here, so I don't know, do you run it this way or this way? See these guys here? What I'm thinking is put this here. I don't think a guy's going to be able to overstuff this. What's in here? Well, that's just for like documents so you can see. I think if we run this sideways like this, we're obviously not going to be able to overstuff it. Put this here, right? Now we can basically run it like we were before with the beaver tail. Now that's going to secure this from going off the bike, right? Once we pull everything tight. So now we have 2 additional straps on the back of this guy. See the Fastex buckles here? That hopefully will extend long enough. So if we could weave it through here somehow and then connect, yeah, we could go right through these straps here, connect these guys like this and pull this tight on both sides. That's going to be, I think that's going to be pretty secure. You guys are going to laugh at me. What's the point, right? I tell you, man, it comes down to, I mean, every little bit helps when you, I mean, this is just a terrible bike for this trip. It's like, I don't know, like starting at a severe disadvantage, but I disagree, because every little bit is going to be helpful. Now, this is going to be super handy because there's still plenty of room to move on the seat, but it's going to give you a spot where you can, they say you can run your smartphone in there, which is really important. I'm going to have running two GPSs, the TrailTech Voyager. I'll have tracks into that, but also I like to use my phone for, you know, all the other reasons. So apparently you can touch it and operate it through this plastic, which I'm very skeptical. But this is a small waterproof bag where we can just put stuff like, you know, charging cables, maybe your ACR satellite communicator, keys, just maybe some snacks, little things that you just need to get them out of your pocket. So I think it's well worth it to have, and it's hard, so it offers some amount of protection. But just for the phone, have a phone holder alone is worth it. So that mounts pretty simply by just, and I haven't ridden with this. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to load up the gear today, and then we'll just bust out like a 50-miler and just to check everything out, make sure that we don't have any obvious problems. And I don't have a lot of experience with this one yet. This is going to be kind of a trial and error, but it seems to feed, it will feed under the tank. Yeah, I have to say I like the look of that. That's super secure. So does it interrupt the riding position here? So, no, because I'm not going to be any further up on the bike than this, and still got lots of room on the back, so plenty of places to move body position. Most of the ride I will be on my pegs anyway. I'll be standing, not sitting. I'm already liking this bag. That's something that I could maybe even leave on all the time. We'll see. There's a clip to hold your keys on there, so those don't go away. There's an internal divider. I like that it's kind of rigid, offers some protection, and there's some straps you can put different things under, like this is an ACR tracker, satellite tracker in case I get into trouble. You know, you could secure that in there. But I'm mostly interested in the phone deal because I use that. I rely upon that so much for traveling. So this is an iPhone 10. I don't know exactly which one it is here. So if we zip that up, they claim this is waterproof. Oh, it does work. That's amazing. So that really works good. So I could open my mapping app guy here. Can you see that? I can pinch. I mean, it works very, very well. I can go through all my settings, my menus. Yeah, no problem. I could make a phone call. Check emails. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. It's super secure. I like that. Yeah, I really like that. And then, here's what I was thinking of doing here. Let me grab something for you. So another problem we're going to have, of course, is keeping everything charged up. Now, I tried to put a USB plug on my bike, but all it did was end up running the battery down, and so that just didn't work. The starting lithium battery just isn't enough for all the gadgetry. So what I think I'll do, so I've got my whole route planned in there each day. I don't know if we'll follow it, but we'll see. But my plan is to put a battery backup in, right? So what I can do is I could keep this in here. So I'm hoping if I could plug this in like this and just leave it plugged in. Is there room? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I have to go with a smaller one. So if we went with a smaller one, like the Anchor here, that if we could plug this in, right? And I'll leave that in there. So we're going to be at the end of the ride. Well, we're going to be eating. You know, it's planned out so we have gas and food at the end of each leg. We're going to be eating, and maybe I could take this in there, and the folks would let me, you know, plug in and charge a little bit. But while we're going, if we could plug this in, right? Because I can charge my phone a couple times on this battery alone. Will this work? Emojis. I don't want that. Stupid. Oh, okay. So indeed we are charging. So yeah, so that would work. And there's still room for the ACR in there. It'd be nice to have that within reach. Because I put it in my backpack. Yeah, right there. So now we're charging. There's plenty of room for the plug. We can still access everything. So that's, yeah, that would work pretty good. All right, guys, that's probably about all the time we have for today. So let me know if do you want me to show break down the individual components, the camping side, the emergency first aid side, the tool side, because I have the whole list. It might be interesting to you. I've put a lot of thought into it. There is a lot that goes into this. You know, it's one thing to say, you know, offhandedly in the video, you know, months ago, yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, we'll jump on those dirt bikes and we're just going to ride 600 miles up to Canada, right? And then it starts to approach, and then the reality sets in. It's like, man, this is going to take some serious planning, right? This is not a small deal. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of work. And, you know, maybe some guys will say that your resources and time and money could be spent in better places, and I understand that. You could make that argument. But also, you know, the thing that's so important for us and for men is to have something in life that challenges you once in a while, to remind yourself that you're not just a completely domesticated man that has gotten so comfortable that you have nothing that challenges, nothing that scares you anymore, nothing that makes you feel alive, right? And that's important to do, because I'll tell you when I started, you know, putting this stuff together, I was, you know, of course you start thinking of excuses. Oh, do I really have time to do this? And is this really necessary? And is this really the most responsible thing to do? And all those doubts and everything start settling in. And then it dawned on me, like, if you cancel this, if you don't do this, when you look back in 10 years and 20 years, or you're talking to your grandkids, you're talking to your friends, you're not going to have any stories, and you're never going to remember what you did when you sat and you watched YouTube videos instead of going in and doing something like this, or that you just sat on the couch or you watch movies. You're just not going to remember that. This, whether it be fun or whether it be a difficult trial or you know, really tough, or you have a breakdown or something disastrous happens, it doesn't matter after the fact. You know, it's going to be an amazing adventure that you're going to talk about and you're going to remember for the rest of your life, that you'll be able to share with friends and to share with people. And it's worth doing for that alone, right? To me, it seems to me that way. That's just so important. And it doesn't have to be a big affair like this. If you don't have a ton of money, there's no reason why you can't go to a thrift store and get yourself a backpack, a pair of hiking boots, and go climb something, or go do something, that really challenges you, and to, you know, reclaim that masculinity that is the opportunities to do that are you have to make them happen. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's a great burden. It's a lot of work, and especially for Mrs. W. You know, she's going to have to be support and drive up there and meet us. But I'll make sure that it looks like she's going to qualify for Boston. I'm really, really hoping that she does. She is putting some anyway. But the point is that you do for each other, right? She makes sacrifices so I can do this fun thing, and I make sacrifices so she can train and run, and I take her to Boston and all those type of things. So that's what makes life interesting and makes it fun. So thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you want to see the gear. I'll make it as concise as possible. And don't forget to click the thumbs up, and we'll see you guys. Keep us in your prayers. We'll see you guys in the next video.